because I also believe, in as much as being strong, I believe that all of us have down days. And we're in a culture now where we are finally evolving to where people are okay going and seeking help if they need it. And that's okay. That doesn't make you weak to ask for help.
Well, you know what I say? My therapist said I'm doing great.
That's right.
Welcome to Under the Knife, the podcast where we cut into topics such as politics, life advice, and medicine, and we do this with the precision of a licensed orthopedic surgeon. I'm your host, Dr. Craig Greene, an orthopedic surgeon and elected public official. Clay Young, thanks for being here.
What's up, brother?
On a Saturday, right?
Yeah, right.
It takes a lot to get you out on a Saturday.
That's how you know you're my guy right there.
Hey, for our listeners, maybe it's just my mom and my sister. I don't know. Maybe it's a couple million. Give them a minute or two on Clay Young.
Louisiana guy, nearly 30 years in and around media. I own a marketing and public relations company here that does work in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, and Shreveport. I am very involved in the community. Got wife and 3 kids. All 3 kids all grown.
How old are your kids?
29, 26, and 26 in November, and 21. My youngest is at LSU right now.
I was going to ask, have they launched?
Yeah, they are in the process of launching.
Yeah.
And, you know, my daughter is kind of launched, and she's thinking about law school, and I think my middle kid is going to be a pilot.
Really?
And I think my youngest is going to sit in my chair at my company one day and take it to places that, you know, I don't
Next
even
level?
know exist. Yeah.
Next level.
But that's it, man. I'm pretty boring.
Methodical.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. I enjoy the community.
You're very active in the community.
Yeah,
Tell us all about how that started and what's going on in the community. What's your role in the community right now?
Where did it start? Man, I like attacking problems. And when I see things in the community that I can be involved with, I try to attack them and create solutions. Mm-hmm. And that really is it. I mean, it started, I saw that as a kid from my grandparents mostly, but I saw that. They were very involved in the community. And when they saw a problem, they attacked it. And so I've kind of carried that forward. And I hear so many people talk about problems. I mean, social media is filled with people who talk about problems.
Right.
Cable news, local news, newspapers, everybody talks about the problem, but rarely do you find people who are focused on the solution.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I enjoy. Like, there's always a solution. Problems are a challenge, you know? It's like problems help you grow. They stretch you. And when you can focus on solutions, it makes you better. And I guess that's one of my things is, like, I care about this community. So if I could apply something that will help, you know, why not?
I like the word you use, attack, too.
Yeah.
You know, when I was running for office, one of the things I would tell people is, you take a plate of bacon and eggs, and you think, how did that get there? And then, well, there's a chicken and a pig. Well, the chicken was involved, but the pig was committed. And
that's right.
So I think, I'm committed because I put my name out there into the public sphere and try to help. And I think you're committed as well. Yeah. And, you and I both try to exercise. And I know one of the things Joe Rogan talks about is, like, physical exercise. And you and I both work out, lift weights in the morning. We're taking an object that's maybe more than we can lift, and we're gonna train ourselves to be able to overcome that. And then that, I think, in our subconscious carries over to problems. Yeah. And we think, okay, well, this is just resistance that we're going to overcome and attack.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when I go in the morning, because I try to do 5 a.m., and I feel like when I'm done, I've already accomplished something.
Bring it on.
It's like, so I've already done something.
Right.
It feels good to know that I'm up and doing something that most people are not even out of bed.
Right.
Right. And when I get home, I'm still home before most people are out of bed. I like that advantage. But plus, man, I find that the headspace, the real estate between your ears is so precious. And there's so many people invested in destroying that real estate.
Right.
Whether through envy or jealousy or, whatever it is.
Right.
And I'm also intentional about protecting that space.
How do you do that?
Guard my circle, prune it regularly.
Prune,
right?
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we could be friendly, but we don't have to be friends.
Right.
Right. I'm careful about what I say about myself in my inner monologue. Right. Very careful about the energy I'm around, because today is the gift.
Right.
Tomorrow is the hope. Like today's the gift. I'm here.
Be present.
I'm here.
Be present.
Tomorrow's the hope.
Yeah.
I hope I get to tomorrow.
Right.
But tomorrow's not a real place. Neither is yesterday.
No.
Right. Yesterday's not real anymore.
Right.
It's only real if we make it real.
Right.
We talk about it.
Right.
Today's the gift.
Today's the
right
gift.
now. This is the gift.
As we speak.
As we speak. This is a gift.
Right.
And I often run into people who, because of their own chemical mixture between their ears, can't bring themselves to that positive space. And life is hard.
There's enough stuff to be negative about all around.
Brother. But I guzzle life.
Yes.
I guzzle it. I want to be healthy and active and functional when I'm 150. Like, I guzzle life. It's a gift. I have suffered some tragedies in my life, and I know how precious it is.
Now let's talk about that. Not to get into the specifics, but don't you think that you would not have that perspective had you not gone through some tragedies?
100%. 100%.
And aren't there future tragedies you just don't know about yet?
Because you don't know.
Yeah.
But that's a part of it.
Right.
You know, I really believe every human should strive for greatness. Like greatness.
Don't you think it's inside of each human?
Every person. It is intimidating to those who don't want it, but it's inspiring to those who do. Like if I had the opportunity to sit and talk with Michael Jordan, I wouldn't ask him about a ball game, any specific ball game. I would ask him, how did you keep that fire burning? Like, how did you keep wanting the next one like it was the first one? That's the gift. Like, how do you get to the mountaintop and then do it again like you've never been there?
Do you think he could put that into words, or that's just something that's inside of him?
I think it's inside of him. I watched The Last Dance.
So how good was that?
So great. But you know, the scene that stands out to me the most was when he was talking about not being a good teammate. And the guy asked him a question, and he said, I never asked my teammates to do anything that I didn't do.
Right.
But then he cried. And it's like, I can't not be this.
Right.
And it's like, and the passion that comes from that. And man, I have been reckless. I have been impatient. I have been aggressive. But it's just trying to figure it out, because standing still is not my thing.
It's not an option.
It's not an option. And I don't know why. And like you said, maybe it's maybe it's some of the tragedies, but I don't think I have ever really accomplished anything yet that I could pat myself on the back for.
Do you think that's just, I mean, because I know that you have, but I get that. I feel that myself, and I've got a handful of accomplishments. But the word that comes to mind, and I think there's a book out there called You Can't Teach Hungry. And what I'm hearing you say is you have a hunger and a passion. And it's almost, I feel like, you know, I came from a very small town, and I was told I could never do the things that I've done. And there's, I don't want to say a fear, but there's a motivation of, you think I'm going to fail?
Yeah. Dude,
watch.
Let me tell you something.
That's fuel.
People don't even realize when they say crazy stuff. Like, and I've been through that. It's like, I appreciate you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much for making sure that my feet touch the floor at 4 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for making sure that when I wanted to do 12, I'm doing 13 reps.
Yeah.
Thank you. I take you to the gym with me. I have a journal.
Yeah.
I remember your name. No, it's like, I'm not going to say anything, but keep it up.
Right.
Keep it up. Keep it up. I told the lady once, she asked me about getting up at 4 in the morning. And when I did morning radio, I hated getting up that early.
Right.
I get up at 3:15. I hated it. I woke up pissed off. But now I do it. And she asked me, I was at a meeting for Capillary United Way. She asked me about that. I said, I look at it this way. I get to make my first choice in the morning at 4. I have to put my feet on the floor. Mm-hmm. Now, the choice is, do I stand up or do I lay back down? Mm-hmm. Guess what your boy does?
Yeah, it gets up.
And so that's my thing. I get to make my first choice that time of the morning. Mm-hmm. You know, Craig, I don't have a bunch of friends, but I do have friends that I'm associated with, like you, who got me here on a Saturday. And relationships that I keep because I believe in gaining something from people when I'm around them. And I'm not talking about money or anything like that. It's like that energy. You know, right. One of our closest friends is Julio Malera. Yeah. You know, every time I'm around Julio, it's that energy.
We can feel his energy here, and he's not even here.
Right, that's right. And I believe in that. Right. But then I go in the community, and I see people who have no hope in their eyes. I see young people, specifically young men, specifically young black men, who have rage in their eyes because they feel like life has done nothing but take from them.
You've got to be an example to them.
And so what I want to do more than be an example to them is I want to be a guide. I want to point them in the direction. But I want them to be able to understand that the greatest gift that you can give yourself is to do for yourself. Do it for yourself, right? And when they find out what their passion is,
right?
You know this. When you know what your passion is, nobody can stop you.
Nobody can stop you. Nobody.
I don't care what you think.
Well, you know what, too? I encounter this. Tell me what you think about this. I'll see patients, and they're in pain, and they don't want surgery. I understand. But I said, look, this is what I tell them. Being in a hopeless place is a terrible place to be. Yep. So what I want to give to you is a hope and a pathway that you don't have to stay where you are. And there's choices you have to make. There's risks. There's effort on your part. But I want to offer you a pathway that you don't have to stay where you are. And that sounds very similar to what you're describing.
But you own it. You know, I know the work you put in on yourself, both intellectually and physically. I mean, and it has to take the effort, but you got to own the effort.
That's right.
You have to own the effort. It can't be
nobody else can do it for you.
I'm waiting on a phone call from someone who's going to motivate me today, so I can. No.
Right.
No. That is slavery.
Yes.
I cannot have my energy tied to somebody else.
No.
So when you are on the negative tide, I cut you off. And it's like, when I'm done, dude.
Well, and part of that, too, is Clay. Who controls Clay's thoughts?
Me?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And I even chastise myself when I linger on something for too long. It's like, what are you doing? Whoa. Let that go.
Yeah, right.
Let it go.
Right.
Like, that's the mastery.
So, I mean, what your mindset, I mean, let's call you the Michael Jordan of Baton Rouge. Okay. Greatness will not be stopped. The engine doesn't stop going,
no,
but
that's why I don't sleep.
It's all for good.
Yeah.
I mean, everything that you do, I think it benefits Clay, but it's about everybody else.
Well, it has to be. See, that's the thing. It has to be. If it's just about me, it dies with me.
Yes.
It has to be about more than me.
Right.
Now, I'm going to get the benefit. I like nice things.
Right.
I like eating in nice restaurants, man. I like wearing nice suits and all that. I'm just like, but it can't be just about me.
No.
But what I find are all of the posers that you don't know are posers who are in positions where it's supposed to be about other people.
Don't
you know about that?
Oh, my God. Dime a dozen. Well, and that's where I think the word authenticity comes in.
Yeah.
You know, there's a saying I love, and it's can't fake real. Just be real. And then you can tell if people are about themselves or about the greater good, you know? And look, it's like when you're flying on an airplane, they say, look, if the airplane starts to go down, put the air on yourself first, the oxygen on yourself first, because then you can't help other people.
That's right.
I mean, you and I try to be strong so that as an overflow, we can help other people. Because if we have a kink in our armor, we're not going to be able to help people.
Well, you're 100% right. And it is also important for us to have each other to call to say, brother, I'm going through it today, or crazy day, what you got going on? Let's go move some iron around, or, you know, whatever. I think that is also true, because I also believe, in as much as being strong, I believe that all of us have down days. And we're in a culture now where we are finally evolving to where people are okay going and seeking help if they need it. And that's okay. That doesn't make you weak to ask for help.
Well, you know what I say? My therapist said I'm doing great.
That's right.
But you know what? We have similar problems.
Yeah.
So bouncing that. I think what, you know, I watch a lot of stuff on the animal kingdom.
Yeah.
And when a lion tries to get let's say a hyena or something, they got to get one off on the side on its own.
Right.
And so if you, like, we get in alone in our head or in reality, man, bad things start to happen.
You know, it's the truth. And I journal because it's cathartic. It helps me get thoughts out of my head someplace. And then there are thoughts that I want to get out that maybe I don't want to share with anybody else, but I still get them out. And as I said earlier, I'm pretty intentional about cutting any energy out that's not good energy. And I don't care who you are, associate, family, whatever. Today is the gift. And I'm not going to screw it up by wasting it on someone who is intent on tearing something down. And that's the whole thing we were talking before we started about politics. Like, you're an elected official. You're focused on solutions. I've known you long before you were elected. You were an elected official. You're focused on solutions. Now it's the show. Right. I need to look like I care about your problem, but I really don't care. I just need to make you think. And that's why we are where we are right now.
Well, look, man, I appreciate you being on.
You got it, bro.
What I want to thank you for is I consider, if Baton Rouge is a tree, you're the roots. I'm not kidding. And we need more roots like that. And I'm going to try to be like that as well. And you know what, the thing about roots, they never see the leaves, you know?
Nope.
And so maybe if we're down in the trenches trying to solve problems, there'll be other people that get to benefit from it. And look, I'm okay if they never know that it was us doing it.
It's better if they don't know it's us. You know, I'm good, man. Tell your mom I said hello.
I sure will.
You can find me on social media at Clay Young BR on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm even on Threads now.
Really?
Old fart like me. I'm on Threads now. Facebook too. You can find me on social. And my company's web address is clayyoungcompanies.com. We're actually redoing the website right now. My guy is on it. But I'm around, man. I care about this community. And I'll say to you, dude, as long as I've known you, you've always been about positive energy. Yes. You've always been striving. You know, when you were going through Yale and doing your thing and everything, it's like, and that's what matters most. And I will say this, color doesn't separate us. No. It just makes us different. Right. But it doesn't make us different because we're not the same. We just look different.
Well, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes all types.
Yeah.
It takes all types.
Right.
And I believe in building and investing in people. Edmund Burke said the only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing.
Yep. Well, and you know what I think you and I feel like? Not on my watch.
Nah.
Not on my watch.
Nah, brother. Nah, this has been fun, man. Well, much success to you on this.
Well, thank you. Look, you're part of the initial stage. We'll see if more than just my mom and my sister listen. And look, I'd love to do it again. And as you know, I think the best is yet to come. And that's that positive energy.
We got to look at it that way.
And look, I see problems as let's solve them.
Attack them.
Yeah.
Opportunities. You know, the other day I was having a conversation with somebody, and and there's a difference between a problem and a nuisance to me. And it was a crazy day. Some stuff happening with some clients, and then my son calls me. His battery dies. It's 320 degrees outside. Yeah. And the guy was like, "Man, I'm sorry you're having all these problems." I said, "Dude, these are not problems.
These are not problems.
These are nuisances, annoyances." Yes. I said, "Listen, having a empty stomach and no food to put in it, that's a problem.
Yeah. I've never missed a meal.
Having it be 100 and something degrees outside and no AC in your house or no AC in your car, that's a problem. Right. So, no, perspective is you can't be I was caught on I-10 a couple weeks ago on the Atchafalaya. I was going to Lake Charles, and I had planned Zoom calls and phone calls the whole time. And there was an accident, and I sat there for 4 hours and 10 minutes.
Wow.
Without moving. And everybody, people I talked with was like, "Man," I said, What was I going to do? Yeah. I returned a few calls that I hadn't done before, but there was somebody behind me who sat there that whole time in a car with no AC.
Wow.
That's
a problem. That's a problem. Well, you remind me of a book I just finished. I highly recommend it. It's called The Gap and the Gain. And what they talk about is there's a perspective that people have. And let's say all that you've accomplished or all of I've accomplished, that's a gain. But maybe there's goals and aspirations, and it looks like, golly, that's a big bite.
Right.
Well, we live in that, our brain is in that gap, and that makes some people feel defeated rather than think, look at what all you've done and give that the momentum to get to take the next step.
Right.
Because it's one step at a time.
Today is the gift. Today's the gift. Tomorrow's a hope. Today's the gift. Right now, this is the gift. This is the gift. You don't even know what's coming tomorrow. Hell, you don't know what's coming in the next hour.
Or if you have tomorrow.
But you are here. And I think that attitude keeps you grounded. And even when you're down, it always gives you that energy to know, I still got a shot to fix this. I can still improve this. I can still win this.
Right.
And I'll say this, you referenced it earlier, and if anybody remembers this, people go through criticisms. Think about this. When people talk crap about you and say things, let it become your fuel. And you will end up getting to a place in life where you're going, thank you to whoever that was. I never would have gotten here without you. And I tell people, most folks would hope to have family members as loyal as their haters. Because haters watch everything you do. They see what you post. They know your accomplishments. They are loyal. And that's it. Life's about perspective, man. Go win. Go win. And don't be afraid to jump out. David Viscott said, if you cannot risk, you cannot grow. If you cannot grow, you cannot become your best. If you cannot become your best, you cannot be happy.
Wow.
And if you can't be happy, what else is there?
Well, you know what that reminds me too is happiness is not in the destination.
It's the journey.
It's the journey.
You've been in the gym sometimes where you hate it.
Yeah.
It's hurting like hell. It's like,
that's right.
But brother,
press on.
Oh, when you walk out of there, it's like you feel like King Kong, man.
Well, you know, and somebody taught me something. There's this guy, older guy in the gym once, and man, I was like, hey, what's your secret, you know? And he said 3 things, Craig. And this translates over to life.
All right.
Form, intensity, and consistency. The amount of weight doesn't matter.
No.
But that carries over to life, too.
Yeah.
What are my disciplines in life? And what's my form in my discipline? How intense am I in those? And am I consistent? And you know what? 35 years later, you look up and maybe you've accomplished something. Maybe you move the needle for society. And if there's multiple of us doing that, then maybe it's a better place for everybody else too.
We just have to stay connected.
That's right.
That's the other part about it is we get so busy that we don't see each other. And you and I were talking about Julio. I ran into him the other day and said, man, we need to get together. And it isn't that you're avoiding, it's just life
busy
and everything going on. But that energy is important.
Unfortunately, too, nowadays you used to ask people, how are you? Good. And busy is the new good. How are you? Busy.
Busy, right.
It makes you feel like you're not accomplishing anything if you just say, I've been bored lately. You know?
No, I'm never bored.
Never bored.
I could use a small bit of bored every now and again.
Clay, thank you for joining on the Under the Knife podcast, where we dissect life, politics, goals, purpose, all of it. So you epitomize it.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us today, and a big thank you to all of our listeners for tuning in to this surgical exploration of politics, healthcare, and life. I've been your host, Dr. Craig Greene. Remember to stay informed, stay sharp, and join us next time to see which of life's topics we'll dissect under the knife.